Hello, and welcome to Real People, Real Stories, where we tell real stories about real people just like you and just like me. And we're so glad to have you join us in tonight's or today's exciting episode. I'm Kathleen Oliveri. I'm co-host along with Dr. Barbie Phillips. I am from Mississippi, coming to you from Mississippi, and so glad to have you part of this. Now, we're going to be talking about ASEA and redox signaling molecules. The great thing about redox signaling molecules is they are native to our body. And quite simply, I'm not a science person, unlike Dr. Barbie, but I like to simply just share with you that ASEA redox signaling molecules help detect, repair, and replace the cells in our body. And that's what makes it unique, because when you have healthy cells, you have healthy organs. When you have healthy organs, you have a healthy body. Now, even though tonight we will be talking about cells in our bodies, we will only be sharing information about our personal self. It is not designed to prevent, diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. Tonight, joining us, we have Robert Archer. Robert, we are so glad to have you here tonight, and I'm going to turn it over to our co-host, Dr. Barbie Phillips.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kathleen. Well, welcome, Robert. We're so excited to have you here. What I'd like to do is have you go ahead and introduce a little bit about yourself here in just a few minutes. Before we do that, I would like to introduce myself out there to our listeners. My name is Dr. Barbie Phillips, and I am a chiropractic physician for people and animals, and I am from Fargo, Oklahoma. I have been involved with this technology for 4 years, and I'm so delighted to interview our guest tonight. So Robert, would you please tell us a little about your background and how you were introduced to ASEA?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me on here. So, I grew up in a small town in southern New Mexico. My father was a businessman all of my life. And after I graduated from high school, I went to college for a year and a half and decided I didn't want to become a farmer, and just kind of hung out at a service station working there for a while before I decided to go to a trade school in Illinois. And I graduated there in 66, came back to Amarillo, Texas, where Kay, my sister, and her husband and kids were living. Started my career here, and I've pretty much been here all the rest of my life here. In 1980, I started a business with two partners, and after 4 years, I was able to buy both of them out. And after over 38 years, I was privileged, and God blessed me to be able to sell my business. And so I've been retired about 5 years. Started into ASEA back in 2020, October. My sister, we were over there attending one of their grandchildren's weddings that my brother-in-law was performing. And he had been fighting bad sales for about 4 years at that time. Well, by 2020 is about 5 years. But in 2019, I went to the first granddaughter's wedding that he performed, and he had to have help by his good-sized grandson to help him down the aisle to be able to make it to the podium and be able to perform the ceremony. So he had to sit on a stool. He didn't have any color in his face, and just the bad chemicals had really taken a toll on him. So when we came back in 2020 in October to the second granddaughter's wedding, he had 2 months previous to that, King Clyde had been introduced to this by Kim, and from not far from here. And she used to be under a member of Clyde's church whenever he was in Silverton. So to find out that he had the bad cells, she talked to him about that. And my sister's always been one to want, the holistic type, natural as much as possible. And so 2 months prior to us going to that second wedding, he started on it. And whenever we got there, the 1st of October, well, man, he had his life back. I mean, his sparkle in his eyes were still there, and would come back, and he had his life back. And whenever Kay introduced this to us and asked us if we would be interested to start in it, I said, well, sure. I didn't need to see the science. I didn't need to have a demonstration or anything, because I'd seen how Clyde had his remarkable recovery from the bad effects of the chemicals that they gave him. So, it was just a no-brainer to start that. So, just my life as an automotive technician for over 50 years, I was, you have bending over hoods and fenders and underneath dashes and, lifting heavy things. It's just, it's hard on the body. And so I have joints that don't feel good. And without the ASEA drink and Renew 28, the gel, I couldn't lay in bed because I would hurt too much. So with that, I'm able to sleep and be able to be on my side is where I usually sleep. And just, it's just amazing products that help your body to really be what it needs to be as healthy as possible. So, and also my sister and I have retina issues, as her mother did. And putting the Redox liquid in drops in my eyes, it has allowed my eyes to not hurt, to not ache, and be able to keep the level of where it was 5 years ago, keep that level even today, as well as kind of improve my vision as well, so I can see better. So with that, I've felt the results of the ASEA Renew, and we take all the products. Whenever having a business like that, you have to show up no matter what. And there's times that I would get sick in the past, and I would be out of work for a day, and then have to go back. You can't just not show up for your customers. So you have to be there. And Lord was very blessed us to be able to sell our business and be able to live off that income from that property. So.
Wow, that's great. So when you started the Redox, did you notice something right away? Was it weeks, months? Tell us about your journey on Redox.
Well, I was pretty healthy other than, having joint issues. So I noticed, better sleep, deeper sleep, being able to dream again, and which is an indicative of better sleep. So, that I felt a little more energy and was able to get on the ASEA via line of nutrients, and that quality vitamins, nutritionals is just key, as well as taking the ASEA to be able to assimilate those and be able to take, get the full impact of those vitamins, and your body be able to use them. So it's, it's more like the saying used to be, you are what you eat. Well, somewhat, but at the same time, you've got to absorb that. So it's really, you are what you absorb. And being able to absorb almost 100% of these vitamins while taking the Redox molecules, you don't have to take as much, and it really works well. Keeps my skin clean and live and vibrant, and be able to just have more energy and be able to do things. Run at 77 as fast as a niece and nephew back whenever I visited them in North Carolina last year. They were shocked.
Now that's impressive.
Yeah. So they thought, wow, you can keep up with us. I said, yeah, come on.
That is great. You mentioned the source vitamin out of the Via line, and that source vitamin is really amazing. It's got all the greens and the some fruits, and it's got enzymes and probiotics and prebiotics. It's got a lot of power packed stuff in there. A lot of us call it our multivitamin that we take every day, but it's so much more than that. But
Right.
yes, that absorbability and how they've actually worked in the lab to make them synergistic to where the ASEA Redox and the source works together, that's a very, very valid point. And that goes with all their products. Have you experienced any good results with some of the cellular performance mixes, the drink mixes?
Oh, absolutely. Every morning after I take my Redox, I have energy and mind together. And that, if I have issues with sleeping, even with Redox, and at times, and if I don't sleep well or wake up early, can't go back to sleep, then the energy in the mind just keeps me going. You get that heavy feeling behind your eyes when you're so tired, and that goes away almost, within 10, 15 minutes. And I have great energy for the rest of the day.
Wonderful, wonderful. So with you being a gentleman, have you experienced any use of the skincare line? Do you happen to use that?
Absolutely. And, it's, when you wash your face with the cleanser, it's just like putting on whipped cream. I mean, it's just, you just want to go and lick it, but it's so smooth and just soft, and it doesn't dry my skin out. And, putting the other items on, the Renew 28, and then the other parts of it, as well as sometimes taking the mask before I put all this on and leaving it on for 10 minutes or so. You feel my skin tightening, and I have little issues with my upper eyelids wanting to, to droop over my eyes, and that's been able to draw them back and be able to not have that issue of a friend of mine had to have his, some of his upper eyelids removed to keep that from. So I don't want that to happen, and
Now,
I don't want to go under the knife.
No, what is it you're using for the upper eyelids? Did you say the clay mask or just, wow?
Yeah, the clay
okay.
mask.
Okay.
Yep.
And do you apply that like right up here, or where do you
Right.
put that?
Yeah, I just close my eyes and put it all over it. You don't want to get it in your eyes because
Right.
it's not a happy feeling, but
I love hearing a male perspective on the skincare because it
yeah.
is for males, females alike. So that is wonderful, wonderful.
Yep.
Great. What about the gel? Can you tell us some uses that you've had for the Renew 28 and how you've utilized that?
Well, I slather it all over my shoulders and my hands, my thumbs, my back, lower back, my hips, ankles, knees, just about every joint on me. I couldn't live without it. It's just everything kind of works together and compounds the results. And so I'm never going to not take it.
Right. And one thing the redox molecules does do is it helps with the inflammatory response. So
Right.
whether you're putting it on your face or whether you're putting it on your shoulders or your ankles, it is going to help with that inflammation that's going on in the body. And then, of course, you take the liquid and that helps from the inside out. So there's such a great,
Correct. Yep. And
great,
you got sunspots and stuff from being out in the sun, and it helps to reduce that as well.
and great for
So
sunburns if you're out there
that,
too long.
absolutely, absolutely it does. It takes the discomfort away right away. I've had insect bites, a wasp stung me once, and putting that on there, it was gone within 30 minutes. And I never had, the redness went away and it just cleared up. It's just amazing stuff.
That is great. That is great. So would you say that there is one thing that you would want to say to our viewers tonight if someone is not familiar with redox molecules or maybe on the fence about starting them? They've been introduced to it from someone else, but they're unsure. Are there any words that you would say to encourage them?
Certainly. You know, there's a lot of things that I didn't know. And this is one of them. Whenever we started taking it, I had no idea how it worked, didn't know anything about it, but I've learned. And so I just would implore you to learn about it and realize what an amazing technology this is that's one of a kind. It's by one company, and it's going to be a household word, just like Kleenex or aspirin. It's going to be a household word that's going to be in the next 5 years, probably. It's just amazing products.
Yeah, I would agree. Do you have any words about purchasing the product through a reputable associate versus purchasing it online? What would you say about that?
Certainly, you definitely don't want to buy it through Amazon or eBay because the company does not source, ship through those companies. So whatever's on there could be tampered with, could be, something added to it, or it could have been replaced, and you won't know. It could be out of date, and these molecules last for a long time on the shelf. That's one of the main major breakthroughs, was being able to stabilize these fleeting molecules outside of the body for longer than a few minutes. Now they're over 18 months, can sit on the shelf in the special lined bottles that they send it in. You want to get the best price and be able to have a warranty on it, a guarantee.
Good point.
So when you buy through the person that's brought you on this call, that's the best way. You can get bonus points as well to get free products. So it's a win-win. Whenever you buy it's shipped direct from the company to you. And, it's just like a week, and you're able to have the product shipped at your front door. We bring it in, put it on our shelves, and use it every day religiously. You've got to be consistent, and you've got to take enough for it to give you results. You may not be feeling it, but my blood work shows it. And so the best thing to do is when you start it, go have blood work done that gives you markers on your inflammation as well as everything else, and be able to track it. It's the only way you're going to know, because sometimes you just don't feel it.
Yeah, you brought up some valid points. Redox molecules are something that works whether we feel it or not. The science is definitely behind it, but sometimes it's not going to work on the area that we are looking for initially. So it's going to go to the most emergency first, which is really important to realize. And then you did bring up a good point. when you order straight through your representative or your associate, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee from the company, which you would not get online if you ordered it online. Plus, we don't know what those products are. And I actually had 2 clients that had been on ASEA Redox and for, gosh, well over 8 months. And they kept telling me they were actually getting worse. And I kept trying to troubleshoot with them. And I found out, you know, they were only ordering 1 case on their monthly shipment and getting the rest off eBay. And when we figured that out, we were 8 months into it. And actually, who knows what they were consuming, because it was actually causing them to be worse. We got that turned around, and within less than 45 days, they're completely different. So that was a telltale sign to me that they may not have actually gotten redox molecules. And we just want to be safe about what we're drinking. So we want to get it from the company. So that's a very, very valid point. So. All right. Well, Robert, I would like to open it up for questions for any of our viewers that have a question for you. And if there's anyone out there that wants to ask Robert a question, you're welcome to unmute and turn your camera on at this time.
Robert, I just want to say your complexion is beautiful. It really does look great. So I was glad to know that you were using the skincare products. So I just have to say kudos. Way to go.
Well, thanks. Yeah, you got to be a product of the product.
Right. Right. Awesome. So Kathleen, do you have anything to add as we get ready to close down? Okay. Well, Robert, any closing words?
And just get on this and, you know, drink enough for long enough. You know, I suggest 6 months as a minimum. Others, you know, say 3 months, but there's people that 4 years later were able to get off of medications that they were taking for decades. So keep on there and keep taking it consistently every day. So that you can have the best results possible.
Right. And if you do get to a point of getting ready to come off medications, we just recommend, of course, you co-care with your doctor on that and let them guide you on that. So very good. Well, Robert, it's been so wonderful to visit with you tonight. And we would like to let everyone know that these Zoom calls are recorded and it will be posted on our Creation Chiropractic YouTube channel. So we would love for you to find that, share it with others, replay it so that other people can get the message as well. And we would like to invite you to join us again on Tuesday, December 26th in 2 weeks. And that will be at 6:30 Central as well, where we will interview our next guest and find out how redox molecules have changed their life. Until then, have a very blessed evening and we'll say good night.
Thanks a lot, Barbie.